Hi everyone, it's Victoria at Bolst Global, and I hope you're doing really well. So, today, one of the areas we want to touch upon is with regards to Saudi Arabia and its growing retail sector. A question we get asked all the time for clients and customers interested in entering Saudi Arabia is which retail channels, which supermarket chains should we target within Saudi Arabia? This is obviously quite an open-ended question, and much of it does depend on the product mix that a client may have, and also then the fit with regards to the customers that are consuming and buying products through those relevant supermarket chains. The retail sector is growing enormously in Saudi Arabia and is due to be worth over 400 billion US dollars by 2033. And within that, of course, then there are a number of operators within what we call the modern trade. This is separate to the traditional trade that you find in Saudi Arabia, which is still a growing part and a big part of the retail market. However, the modern trade side of things continues to grow, to modernise, and these are supermarket chains that you will see increasingly across the kingdom. The biggest player in terms of the size of the supermarket and hypermarket chains is Panda, which is part of Saviola Group. They continue to grow and modernise their supermarket chains and hypermarket offering. That's one consideration that you may want to do, may want to take if you're looking to go to a big player. However, there are a number of other supermarket chains that might be interesting for you, particularly if your product within, say, the health and wellness space is more niche and premium and is targeting a higher consumer base who is more potentially affluent. So, for example, the likes of Danube, based out of Jeddah, Tamimi Markets, based in the east of the kingdom, tend to be the two premium retailers that a lot of people gravitate towards. Another player that has recently entered the market from the UAE is Spinneys. They only have a couple of stores at the moment, but are continuing to grow rapidly and to very aggressively expand their operations in Saudi Arabia over the next coming months. That could be another opportunity that you may want to consider if you work in the premium segment. Then you have other areas which may be considered more mass market players, such as Al Athaim and Lulu Group, which operate not just throughout Saudi Arabia, but through the wider Gulf and Middle East side of things, operating over 200 stores within that entire region. Another area you may want to consider if your product is for snacking and a beverage and packaged single-use products could be the convenience channel. And looking at the likes of Sasco, which is government operated within the petrol stations, and the likes of Circle K, who operate not just in Saudi Arabia but also in the UAE and are continuing to grow their footprint, could also be another opportunity to work through. Do remember, however, that some of these retailers would not necessarily directly import your products, and the route to market is another consideration, and that in order to access those supermarket chains and retail chains, you may need to go through a local distributing partner who will take title of goods, bring your products in and sell them on to those retailers, plus any other customers that they have in their product, in their customer profile. Also, this can be an added benefit that you're not just targeting one retail chain, but you're having and gaining access to their customer portfolio at the same time as well. So do have a think ultimately with regards to what positioning your product would have in the Saudi Arabian market, and then tailor that then to who you would choose to target as potential grocery chains that would be a good fit. We always talk a lot at Bolst Global about getting the right fit. So it is important that your value proposition for your products and your product mix do suit the supermarket and the retail chain that you are targeting, and that those shoppers would respond positively to your product in terms of how it's positioned from a price perspective, from the benefits that the products bring, and the value add that it is giving, particularly in the likes of the health and wellness sector. In our opinion, Saudi Arabia really is the volume driver for business in the GCC. As such, it's an opportunity, if you're looking at the wider Gulf region, to export that you really can't afford to miss out on. Thanks for listening. We hope you found this useful. As always, you can find plenty of resources on our website, bolstglobal.com. And if you would like to discuss any of your export plans at any point, do feel free to get in touch. Thanks for listening.